A little ditty about Jack and Diane, two American kids growing up in that heartland. I hear that Jackie's gonna be like a football star. Some things annoy me. Not that song. That song's fantastic. Some things annoy me. So I'm down here pulling parts. All of a sudden my voice has gone in again. I forgot my drink upstairs. Anyway, a friend contacted me. Says, "Hey Dave, I need some parts. And I hear you have some, and I do have some." And what I find annoying is the collection is, or I'm going to use this tense correctly. The collection was as sorted as I wanted it to be for the longest time. When I was hardcore building the space layout and doing whatever, the collection was sorted perfectly for me because I could find every piece I wanted. Now that I'm trying to find pieces for other people, pieces that I rarely use, I can't find them. So, anywho, it was annoying to me that I was reconstituting some Starfleet Voyagers. As you saw if you watched my previous videos from the last couple of years, I got a couple lots that came with a Starfleet Voyager. I got one from the States, Aurora, which I thought was up here. That's all the story. And what that set did not come with was the 4x3, 1x4x3 windows with shutter, the white window frames with the white shutters. And I know previously that in reconstituting some Starfleet Voyagers and trying to add detail to the layout, and I'm using those containers as well as the little white container that came from the 924 as containers for the layout because they work well, they look well, people know what they are. And so on my layout, you will see a plethora, a cornucopia, a whole bunch of those containers, the 2x4 with the two little doors on it from the 924, made of white. I made 10 of those. They're distributed throughout the layout. And I made a whole bunch. Well, I wanted to make a whole bunch. Again, proper tense here. I wanted to make a whole bunch of Starfleet Voyager containers because they're really cool. They're really cool containers. I like them. They work. And so if you look in the habitat on the base level, there's half a dozen or more in there because that's where people live and that's where they store their stuff. And in universe, you have to move your goods around inside containers. I absolutely could have come up with my own mock container like my friend Jeff does, and they are the most gorgeous containers I've ever seen in a space layout. Is my friend Jeff's containers. He's modified it over the years, but he used to have the container mover spaceship on our layouts way back in the day, and those containers were inspirational. They were inspired, I believe, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, they were inspired from the basic 4x8 container that was on the monorail. But he made them better and bigger and awesomer and connectable to his ship and to the vehicles that carried him around, which I thought was awesome. And so he did that. And so I could have come up with my own mock containers for the layout, but I wanted it in universe. The 924 comes with one, and the Starfleet Voyager comes with one. So I wanted to, in universe, people would see those containers. Oh, that was from the 924. Oh, that was from the Starfleet Voyager. So far, nobody said that. After all the years of doing layouts, nobody said, "Oh, I recognize the container." Nobody recognizes the containers besides you and me. Nobody recognizes the containers. But anywho, so in my quest to make more containers, I ran out of white. Not the window frames, because I got a gabillion of those window frames in white. Now, some of them have faded to yellow, which is a little bit of a shame. Again, I'm going to do retro bright at some point in my life later. But the actual, the window, what do you call those things? Window frames? No, not the window frames. Shutters. The window shutters in white. I didn't have any more. I ran out. I built a half a dozen or 9 or 10 or whatever, and I had no more shutters because then you need 20 if you have. Actually, you need 40 because you need 4 shutters per per box, and if I built 10 boxes, I needed 40 shutters, and I ran out. I don't know if there's 10 in the layout, but there are two Starfleet Voyagers in the layout, and I think only one of them actually has a container in it, because the other one is wired to light up. And to make the wiring accessible, I removed the container and I put the life lights brick in the back end. But inside the habitat and on the train that goes around, there's 4 containers on the train itself going around. So I ran out of shutters, and I said, "Oh, I thought I had so many more shutters, but alas, poor Yukam, alas." I'm not gonna start quoting Shakespeare. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. A vast accumulation of just complete pieces of trivia. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. I ran out of shutters, and I looked for them, and I thought I had so many shutters. But the way my collection is, and I don't sort white willingly. I'll say that. And so the white is unsorted. And so I had a friend today, or a couple days ago, Dave texted me, "Hey, I need some 1x1 white windows," if you know what those are, and 2x1 windows again. And I'm going, out of all the people that I know, I'm going to have some of those, because I do. And I know they're slightly rare, although in this collection they're not. so I was going through, and I found, I'm not saying that this is as many as I found, because I got lots more. But whilst looking for those windows, I just happened to, in my bins that I don't look at ever, I came across, oh look, there's one. Oh, I have one more. And I didn't even pull them all out. And one that's missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. 9 windows with white shutters. It's like, really? And they've been there. Like, I didn't get those in used lots recently. Those have been there since pre-internet. It's like, anywho, I'm not done sorting. I have 10. That's 10. So I wanted to start this video because over the years, what's happened for me is I had a really good friend of mine that I met at Brick Fete, and he would show up, and he was an appreciator, a connoisseur, a lover, like a person who was fandom of this Lego company, but a very, very niche time of Lego. And that time is when I was a kid. That time frame, that from 1969 to 1975 or 6, maybe 1977. That niche time, pre-minifig, pre-Technic-ish, where the doors of this is even too late. That's too big. The original doors, which I found this door, the HO, I believe it's called the HO scale doors. Now, he loved that era, and he built layouts using parts and pieces from that era, and the cars and the houses to the scale of this guy, not even this guy, this guy. And I loved it. and so he goes, "Dave," and I go, "Hey, I have parts for you," because I have a lot of those, a lot of these. And so what we have done in the past decade, since 2012, 2013, is sporadically he'll send me an email. Not so much lately, but I think because it's probably waning for him. But he would send me, "Dave, I got a whole bunch of space goodies," and give me a bag of early 70s windows, doors, shutters, slopes from that era. And so we would just exchange. And so, and obviously I haven't done it in a while because I found more of these. And so I have bags that I was going to give him that never got to him. So what I'm doing now, and this is just out of my bins, but I had sorted out parts and pieces earlier from that era. And another one. I loved these doors. I really did. I like and the trans clear ones that they put in the garages back then. And again, this is why I talk about the yellowing, the 1x6x3 windows. I have some good ones still, but you can see there are some that are and look how warped that is. That's carbon acetate. So the 1x2x1 window, a little bit rare. The 1x3x2 window, a little bit rare. But if you had the London bus from back in the day, it came with a whole bunch of red ones, and I got that somewhere. I'm looking for and not finding easily. Some of these shouldn't even be in here. I'm not sure how they got in here, but I was hoping to find. Like, I'm sorting out all of those windows and doors, so I'm actually organizing my old, even these doors. These are the doors I grew up with, and and this piece I hear is very rare. I have lots. This collection doesn't cease. The other thing is that some of the windows, no glass. It is what it is. It is. I can't. I like that. I do like that door. So I'm sorting out all the windows and doors to see if I can find the 1x2x1 and the 1x1x1, but there are none more in here. So I'm going to dump all these. I'm going to get these things sorted out. I'm sorting out the windows right now. And the doors, I'm not going to worry about the rest of it yet. I do plan on taking all the shutters and putting them in a different bag or whatever. Oh, there's the 1x1. Yay! I know I have lots, so I'm not too worried about selling them to a friend who wants them. I will figure out what price is. I don't even know what the prices are on the Bricklinks right now for those. There's another 1x2x1. There we go, or 1x1x2. 1x1x2 is the correct terminology for those windows. It's width, length, then height. So 1 thickness by 3 by 3, 4, 1 by 3 by 4. This is a 1x1 by 2. And of course, this is just a 1x1x1. So, the most ubiquitous one is the 1x2x2, and I have loads again, but a lot of them are, you know, faded and or yellowed. That is what it is. Okay, I think I got all the windows out, so let me just slide all this stuff in here. At some point, I'm going to, because I have a whole other bag. So this over there. I picked this up, I think, at a Toro Luck event, or could have been Rick in the Six, but thinking that I was going to have my buddy that was going to contact me and said, "Hey, Dave, do you got any stuff for me?" And I would have lots, but c'est la vie. He hasn't contacted me in a while. I hope he's okay. There's another 1x1 in here, so that means I got 4 of those, which is what he wanted, and 4 1x1x2s. So all that is done for him. Now, some of that is yellowed. I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. The other thing that's going to happen, and it's happened far too many times in my life, and sometimes deliberately, because back in the day I wanted to make things easier for me. And so what happens is that you have your standard hinge brick. It's got this little piece in the top, and it's supposed to have another little piece in the bottom to hold the hinge. I mean the shutter brick. This one's missing the one from the bottom, and you can see it's busted off. Happens so big. And I did this when I was a kid to some of my 1x1x2 bricks, because it was going to make my building easier to have. Instead of putting 2 1x1x1s on top of each other, just use a 1x1x2. I did that when I was very young. I'm a little embarrassed to say I did that sometimes, not to all my pieces, because again I wanted to keep some, but in the end I did do it, and it was like I think back now, I wouldn't have done it, but you know, you're a kid and there's nobody else out there in the world that you could have contacted to say, hey, there was no Bricklink in 1974. there was none of this fancy, hey, you kids get off my grass kind of stuff. I think about the evolution here, and I got one more bag to check before I start wrapping this up. And I think it's going to be pretty much more of the same. I don't know where I got this bag from, but obviously this might be from my buddy. No, because I give him the pieces. He doesn't give me these pieces. But these are actually remarkably good. These are a lot not yellowed, which I appreciate, because most of my other pieces are, or not most, but some of my other pieces are yellowed. And I'll get into the shutter bricks later, but there are no 1x1x1s, no 1x1x2s, and no 1x2x1s in here at all. That'll be fine. So that goes over there. The other important thing of note about these bricks, and I think I can show you here, and this is trivia, and most of us actually already know this. I'll use the 1x1s first, because I don't feel like digging up the 1x1x2s. Maybe I can find a 1x1x2. No, not yet. Nope. Yep. Okay. This might be better. So a 1x2x2 window. Well, let's grab one. I'm gonna zoom in, and we're gonna turn it, and you'll see this little lip, and look at the angle on that. Now, I'll grab this one. 1x1x2. Special effects. There's so much production value in this little show that I keep on making you guys. Look at that. Zoom right in. So I'll do the comparison. So I believe this one's older than this one. I think because this one, you will not be able to put another brick. I'll show you on this thing. You'll not be able to put another brick right here because the toe's in the way. The toe of the window's in the way. On this one, however, you can put a brick there. So they changed the mold. Again, it is one of those little things that the older part, I mean, even new parts, they changed the mold. They really did. But on this one specifically, they changed the mold. And for better or for worse, it doesn't matter to me. It is what it is. So 1x2, there we go. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 with glass. Excellent. So he asked for, I get my phone right there, I can't use it. He asked for a few pieces. I have a few spares. Asked for spares. Like, I got a million of those. He asked for 5 of those guys, and I tried to find nice ones in my collection because I got some really faded ones. The one thing he asked for, this one, inverted, dual, double. The one thing he asked for was the original, which I believe he's making a 928, but might not be. The original 1x2 with handle. My issue is I don't have any more with the handles on the center line. All mine now are the ones that are 3/4 the way down, because I reconstituted 10 928s. So that's 30 I needed. And I think some of my 928s have the new type 2 handle, not the type 1 handle. But I'm going to give him the type 2 and be done with it. And he can do with it as he pleases. So yes, a little piece of trivia about the toe on the windows. I think it's the older ones that stick out farther, and they changed the mold so they don't stick out as far. I know that my train ferry from 19 whatever, let me pull this down. My ferry, you can actually see here, these ones stick out and the rest of the windows don't. And I think this entire row sticks out. That's what happens. They sit proud of the bricks underneath. Now, I think they designed it that way originally because that's what windowsills do. Windowsills on a real house should extend past the facade of the house. But you can't build right next to that because that lips there, you can see it sticks out. Whereas these guys don't stick out. Now, I got this in a used lot. I got this one, and I also got this one. And I didn't know this was Lego when I first got it. I mean, it's busted. This base plate's busted. This is the European version, I believe, and this is the American version because it's just all studs all the way through. Whereas the European version just has the studs that they need to build the boat, and all this is empty. But I kept it. So I got this in the used lot. And I was going to throw it out, but it sat here for the longest time. And it was really coincidental because, again, I saw the ferry back in some brochures that I got in lots years ago because, again, the brochure that this thing came in, I wouldn't have had in any set that I got in the mid-'70s. I don't think this thing was available in the mid-'70s when I started getting the brochures. And so I didn't see this ferry. Maybe I did, but, again, those brochures are long gone. But anyway, I didn't realize that this base plate was Lego. And coincidentally, in 1 year, it was less than 2 months apart that I got this, and then I got the entire set in a lot. And when I was building that, I go, wait a minute, this is the same base plate that I got just a few weeks back that I was going to throw out. And then I actually looked at it, and I'm going, oh, that says Lego on there. It says right on the stud, Legos. But see, I'd never seen this piece before, ever. And I didn't know what the ferry was, ever. So it's like, I thought this was Mega Block or some sort of crap knockoff brand. Because again, at the time, I mean, this was not 15, 18 years ago. So the internet was around. I could have looked it up. But I thought, 8 by whatever this is, it's not Lego. But it is. So, and then I got this one. And solid studs on top. And, oh, sorry, so here's something else that I got into a nice discussion with smarter people than me, which I always like smarter people than me. They were making the point, because they bought the 575 Coast Guard set, which came with trans one by one round bricks and trans colors for the Coast Guard set, which came out pre-1978, I guess, 70, whatever. And those were solid stud. See, I only have trans clear and solid stud. I mean, I got red, black, blue, and yellow solid studs, because those were the one round by one by one round bricks in solid colors, black, yellow, white, red, and blue. They all had solid studs before 1978. They all did. This one does. But after 1978, they had the hollow stud, and I don't see, the big melt kind of screwed me up. I say that in many ways. But the big melt, all my sets that I had prior to 1977 are gone. Like every single set that I had prior to 1977 were all gone. So they all went into the trash can. So I could have had trans colored pieces, one by one, round bricks, trans red and trans blue. I could have had them. I don't remember. I don't remember having a Coast Guard set, the 575, as my friend was saying. But I could have had them. I had the Lunar Lander, which came with the trans clear one by one round bricks, right? And this was solid stud. I got that set 3 or 4 times now, collecting, but I had that before the big melt. I didn't have those pieces after the big melt, but I have them now because I acquired the sets afterwards and used lots. But I found it very, very interesting because from my perspective, it was 1978 is when they started making trans, one by one round bricks and trans colors other than clear. But friends pointed out they were existing before. So if they existed before, they're going to be solid stud. And so therefore, the original 3-digit number sets, the original classic space sets that came out in 1978, not the ones that came out in 1979, but the ones that came out in 78, could have had, and probably did have, solid stud. Solid stud. My issue is that I've acquired in my lifetime 14 copies of the Galaxy Explorer. used, absolutely used, but 14 copies. Some were in box used, and they all had hollow studs on the trans red 1x1 round bricks and the trans green 1x1 round bricks. I've acquired 7 or 8 copies of the 926, the command center. All of them are hollow stud. Every last one of them was hollow stud. The Galaxy Commander a hollow stud. Every trans. I mean, you saw me. I sorted out my entire trans red collection, my entire trans green collection, my entire trans blue I haven't done yet. Trans dark blue, but every one I've never seen a solid stud on any trans 1x1 round brick besides clear. So and since I acquired all those sets, I just assumed. And it was a bad assumption on my part because my friend pointed out older sets had solid studs. So anyway, that was a way of getting to the point of saying, I've been wrong before, and I'm not above being wrong yet. so anyway, all this goes. Excuse the noise. Now I have a bin half full of old windows, and I'm going to not put those in there. But what I'm going to do after, and I'm not going to do this on camera, is I'm going to go through and I'm going to find all the shutters and put those in here too, because this is half empty. This will be my, this is my childhood. It was such a good time. It honestly was. And I can't complain about it at all. The only downside is the yellowing, and of course the CA completely bending. But I got those now, and I think, and I'm gonna have to look at my phone in a couple seconds when I finish this. He wanted some base plates too, which I have in abundance. So I will get all the pieces together, and I will. Okay. I will get all the pieces together, and I will come up with a price. Or he wants to exchange, and I think this is making me happy because I need some 8x8 red grill plates. Because I have that guy right there. You can just see him. It's one of my favorites. Oh, so before I wrap this up and get on to 30 minutes, this is how. I don't want to use the word obtuse because that is a disparaging word to use. I will say sometimes my mind is so much over here that I don't think about. Oh, here's the example. I had a friend. I have friends. I had a friend in high school. More of an acquaintance. He wasn't in my class. He wasn't in my age level. He was a few years before me. A few years after me, but the year he graduated from high school, he was the valedictorian. He was that kind of smart, like as Ben Affleck would say in Good Will Hunting. He was stupid smart. My friend here is stupid smart. I love Good Will Hunting. Talk about good movies. Well, I'm not going to go off on that tangent again, but Good Will Hunting, right up there. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and when it's on TV, I watch it. Wicked smart. Wicked smart. He said wicked smart, not stupid smart. Wicked smart. So my more than acquaintance, less than a friend, was valedictorian one year of his high school. I was already off in college or past college by then. But anyway, I found out that he there was a story that I heard that prior to graduating, he's in chemistry class, like grade 13, what we would call advanced chemistry class. They got rid of grade 13 after I got out of high school. Anyway, and they're having a class discussion about whatever they're having a class discussion about. And he raises his hand and he asked the teacher, the chemistry teacher, what is the solid state of water? Because various things have various names. And the entire class looks at him because he's the smartest kid in the class. And they look at him. What? What? The solid state of water is ice. and there was actually, what reminded me of that story was there was a TikTok going around, when the girl was asking her boyfriend, what do you call water that is hot? And he goes, hot water. And he goes, what do you call water that is cold? Cold water. And what do you call water that is frozen? Frozen water. No. Well, you could water that is frozen. It's not called frozen water. It's called ice. So, but anyway, back to that. That completely relates to this thing. So I got this thing up here, right? You can just see it. And I realized I do not have any 1x16 red bricks. None. I don't know where they are. They're in the layout. I think they're in the layout somewhere. I had a few. They're in the layout. I'm not taking apart the layout to find them. So I substituted, because it needs 2 1x16 red bricks to run the length of the vehicle, so it holds it all together. I used 4 1x8s. Just put them together, and that was perfectly acceptable. It's strong enough without that. And I can't remember who I was talking to online, smart people out there. Oh yeah, I ran out of red 1x16, so I just used 1x16 Technic brick. Are you kidding me? Can I get at it? Oh, how hard is this gonna be get at this thing? Are you kidding me? In what world did my brain not equate putting 2 1x16 Technic bricks in there? I have 60 red 16 Technic beams in here. 60. It's like, come on. I have been daft before. Like, it didn't even dawn on me. It did not even cross my mind to even think about using my 1x16 Technic bricks. I'm incredulous with myself right now. Wow, as soon as I heard that. As soon as it's just like, you're just walking along. And again, if you get this deep cut, you'll get this deep cut. It's like those old Bugs Bunny cartoons when the most obvious thing just kind of hits you in the head, like the rake to the head. It's like ding, like you just. How did I not even consider? Why did that thought even cross my mind? Like I'm incredulous with myself since that one hit me. 1x16 Technic beams. It's like, it's like, oh, for love. Anywho, I haven't done it yet. So there's still 1x8s in there, 4 of them instead of 2 1x16s. I was just shaking my head. I was just like, really, like the most blatantly obvious part in the entire universe to substitute a 1x16 brick in red as a 1x16 Technic brick in red. Anywho, on that note, that's it. That's all. I'm going to wrap this up. You guys all stay safe. Take care. I will talk to you soon. And I did more sorting tonight. So stay safe. Talk to you.